Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started.
Former WWE head writer Vince Russo recently fired shots at Triple H. He was sharing his thoughts on Bret Hart's opinion of the game. During a recent interview, Bret Hart lambasted Triple H. The three-time Hall of Famer spoke his mind about how he felt, claiming that the chief content officer would not be in that role if he were not married to the boss daughter. He went on to say that he had very little respect for the King of Kings. On a recent episode of Sportskeeda's Writing with Russo, the wrestling veteran echoed Bret's views on the Hall of Famer. He questioned whether the game would be in the same position had he not married Stephanie McMahon. Vince Russo added that many other veterans of the wrestling business were much smarter than the game, but could never become the chief content officer of WWE. Bret is the guy. Bret is only going to say things that Bret would say. How many people would say that? How many people would say, listen, man, if he didn't marry Stephanie, he would not be in that spot. I could think of people in the wrestling business who are much smarter than Triple H that never in a million years would wind up in a spot like that. So, that's the reality of the situation. I'm sorry, I look at Shawn, I look at Triple H, and I look at Taker, and I ask myself the question, how qualified are these guys for their positions, and what makes them qualified? The fact that they were great wrestlers does not qualify them. The King of Kings has come under severe criticism of late after WrestlePalooza. The event marked the start of a new era for the company. However, many fans found the plea to be underwhelming. With nothing of note happening on the show, the world of professional wrestling thrives on drama, intensity, and personalities larger than life. But every now and then, the backstage politics and management decisions become just as explosive as the matches inside the ring. Over the past several years, WWE has undergone significant leadership changes, most notably with Paul Triple H Levesque stepping into a creative leadership role. While some fans and wrestlers have praised his vision and approach, not everyone is convinced that Triple H is the right man to run the biggest wrestling company in the world. Recently, a veteran of the wrestling industry delivered a harsh and unapologetic rant, claiming that Triple H is not qualified to run WWE. The comments, which have spread rapidly across social media and stirred conversation among fans, shine a spotlight on the ongoing debate about the future of the company under Triple H's leadership. Wrestling veterans, brutal rant. The veteran, whose decades-long career has seen him work in major promotions around the world, didn't hold back. In a podcast interview, declared that WWE was headed down a dangerous path and that Triple H lacked the business sense, long-term strategy, and adaptability needed to manage a company of WWE's size. According to him, while Triple H may have proven himself inside the ring as one of the greats and has had success overseeing WWE's developmental brand, NXT, the main roster, is an entirely different beast. He's trying to make WWE into his vision. But his vision doesn't match what wrestling is today, the veteran said. He's living in the past, banking on old-school ideas that don't resonate with the modern audience. Running NXT is one thing, it's a smaller environment with a niche audience. Running Raw, SmackDown, and pay-per-views that reach millions worldwide is a completely different challenge. He's not qualified for that, no matter what anyone says. Criticisms of Triple H's creative direction, the wrestling veteran didn't stop there. He broke down his criticisms into several points. Over-reliance on nostalgia, according to him. Triple H has leaned too heavily on bringing back older stars and relying on nostalgic storylines, while these moments get short-term fan reactions. He argued that WWE needs to invest in building long-term stars for the future. Inconsistent storytelling. The veteran blasted Triple H for not being consistent with long-term story arcs. pointing to abrupt changes in direction and unfinished storylines that leave fans confused. 2. Much focus on in-ring quality over character work. He claimed Triple H prioritizes technical wrestling matches but doesn't understand that WWE's mainstream appeal has always been rooted in larger-than-life characters and entertainment value, not just athletic performance. Failure to attract younger audiences, perhaps. The most stinging criticism was that Triple H has failed to bring in younger fans, with WWE's viewership numbers among children and teenagers declining. If kids aren't tuning in, there is no future, the veteran said bluntly. A divisive figure in WWE leadership, Triple H's rise to power was always going to be controversial. After Vince McMahon's departure from day-to-day creative responsibilities, Triple H stepped in and quickly made sweeping changes to programming. Many fans welcomed these changes, noting a greater emphasis on wrestling quality, more logical booking, and the return of previously released talent. However, as the veteran pointed out, what pleases hardcore fans does not always translate to mainstream success. Television ratings have fluctuated, some storylines have fallen flat, and WWE's ability to create household names on the level of The Rock, John Cena, or Stone Cold Steve Austin remains in question. This has fueled the debate. Is Triple H revolutionizing WWE for the better? Or is he out of his depth trying to juggle the demands of global television networks, sponsors, and fans? The weight of expectations. Part of the challenge for Triple H is the enormous expectations placed on him as one of the most decorated wrestlers in WWE history. Married into the McMahon family and long groomed for an executive role, anything short of perfection is often seen as failure by critics. The wrestling veteran acknowledged this, but still held firm in his opinion. People give him a pass because he's Triple H. They look at his legacy in the ring and assume that automatically makes him a good booker, a good executive. But being a top wrestler doesn't mean you can run a billion-dollar company. Those are two very different skills, and I just don't see that he has them. WWE's fan base reacts unsurprisingly. The rant set the internet on fire. Fans were quick to debate the veteran's comments on social media. Some agreed wholeheartedly, pointing to certain creative missteps in recent months. Others defended Triple H, noting that WWE's overall product feels more exciting than it has in years, and that long-term storytelling is beginning to take shape. Look at what he's done with the Bloodline story, one fan argued. That's the best angle WWE has had in decades. You can't say he's not qualified when he's giving us moments that people will remember forever. Another fan countered. The Bloodline was Vince's idea. Triple H has been coasting on that and hasn't created anything as impactful on his own. The veteran is right. He's not thinking about the future. Industry impact. The veteran's rant isn't just a matter of opinion. It highlights the broader question of what wrestling needs to be in 2025 and beyond. WWE is no longer competing against just other wrestling promotions. It's battling streaming services, TikTok, video games, and countless other entertainment options for the attention of younger audiences. Critics argue that Triple H, for all his wrestling knowledge, may not have the adaptability to steer WWE into this new era. Supporters counter that his approach is laying the groundwork for a stronger product in the long term, even if the results aren't immediately visible. Despite the harsh criticism, it seems unlikely that Triple H's position is in jeopardy anytime soon. He has the backing of WWE's corporate structure and remains a trusted figure in the company's leadership. That said, the scrutiny will only intensify. Every creative decision, every storyline, and every ratings report will be used as evidence in the ongoing debate about whether he is truly qualified to run WWE. For the wrestling veteran who launched this tirade, the message was clear. WWE cannot afford mistakes at the top. This isn't just some indie show or small company, he said. This is the WWE, the biggest wrestling brand in the world. If the wrong person is steering the ship, we're all going to see it crash eventually. The brutal rant has opened a new chapter in the conversation about WWE's leadership under Triple H, love him or hate him. There's no denying that he has reshaped the creative direction of the company. The question remains whether his vision will ultimately strengthen WWE for decades to come more weather. As the veteran insists, he simply isn't qualified to lead the empire Vince McMahon built. For now, the debate rages on, with fans, wrestlers, and industry insiders all weighing in. And in true wrestling fashion, the drama outside the ring may prove just as captivating as anything happening inside it.